Move on to phase 5, acquisition. That's very important. We've learned with over 40 years experience in the business that we need to provide you with decision support material if you do decide to replace or upgrade your system. Again, there's a form, needs analysis and evaluation worksheet that describes these basic decision criteria. Our experience in the industry has suggests that these are the 5 basic decision dimensions that you need to focus on when deciding on a new supplier and a new system and network. First is, and I've really put these in order based on our experience. You may have a different order, you may have some additional ones, but this is just to give you some decision support guidelines. First is emotional, what we call the individual benefits that the system and network can bring to the business, the direct and indirect impact that can have, both top line and bottom line impact, and the overall value that it brings to the business. The financial dimension is, of course, what is the initial investment in the equipment and the network connections, and as we said, in some cases, that can be offset with savings. The total cost of ownership. Most of today's equipment is very inexpensive to maintain, has a long mean time between failure. So catastrophic failures are few and frequent, and they're very easy to maintain. So your total cost of ownership is minimal and will continue to drop as technology evolves. The benefit, value, impact, and the return on investment can also be significant. We have several pricing options, which can be single investments or incremental investments through rental or leasing. So there's a lot of options there. Then you need to consider the relationship dimension. Technology is great, but if it doesn't work, you need to get it fixed. And if it needs replacing, you need to have people you trust that can help you do that. So the relationship dimension is very important. Some people think that what we call the practical dimension or features is the most important criteria. Again, we found by experience that it's really not. Many systems have many of the same features and capabilities and flexibilities and performance are very important, but we found that benefits, impact, and value are a more important criteria. The last is risk dimension, and companies like ComNet, with all of our experience, and our people with over 100 years of combined industry experience and customer commitment, really lower your risk factor to almost 0. So when all else is the same in a decision, you want to look at your risk factor and go with a company like ComNet that really demonstrates the lowest risk for you. Staying with acquisition, let's talk a little bit about those buying objectives, the practical objectives or features. First of all, you want to look to a system that retains current capabilities. Some people think this is not an issue, but in some cases it can be. So you want to be sure that new systems or replacement systems or upgrade do not take away any of your current capabilities. We caution you to focus on features. Features are important, but in many systems there's over 450, 500 standard features, and we found that less than 10 or 15 are used on a daily basis. So making a decision based solely on a feature list is really not an appropriate decision. Benefits are more valuable in feature-benefit alignment, system configuration, feature allocation, the functionality of features at the station level, at the remote location level, and mobile phone level, station capabilities, user access, software programming, application assignment are all just as important in many cases as a feature list. So we encourage you to remember that when making a decision and look beyond the features to what we call benefits and value. And we've broken our systems down to help you do that very easily and taken all of our features and capabilities specification and put them into these buying objectives, or what we call solution areas, which we found that most companies are interested in. Now, you may not be interested in all of these. They may not be applicable to you, although I believe all of them are important to your decision. But what we would do is, through our assessment process, our team would work with you to identify which 5 or 6 of these are most important to you, and then we would focus on those. And in the formal presentation, we would demonstrate those and explain those to you. So here you can really become part of the evaluation and replacement process by telling us what's important to you. There is a worksheet that talks about these and allows you to work through it on your own, or our team can help you do that. Here is where you get your money back on your negative impact, your challenges in the business. And by bringing solutions like this at many levels of the corporation, we can get those dollars back, and in many cases provide a positive impact on the business. Let's move to the last phase, or the next to last phase, which is what we call infrastructure implementation. In other words, once you assess your system and determine that you want to replace it, and you make a decision to go with ComNet Solutions and our team, then you'll want to be concerned with what's going to happen first, and how are we going to install the system, and so forth. So all of your focus will move from making the decision and making a safe and sound decision to getting the system installed. We boil that down to 3 basic categories, what we call a critical path to ICT deployment success. And the first one is what we call pre-cutover. These are all the functions that occur. They can happen very quickly, or they can happen over a period of a few weeks, depending on your schedule. But these are all the functions that happen before we actually cut over your system. Obvious things like we install the cable, we install the hardware, software programming, phone configuration, and all of that occur in the time frame before we cut over. Then we move to what we call the cutover phase, where that's the day that we pick, and we give everybody a notice, and we do a final installation check, and we detail all the stations, putting the labels on and so forth. We notify everybody that we're going to cut it over, and then we cut it over in a seamless operation that we've really developed over a long period of time. And with coordination with the carriers and providers that we're working with, it really is a painless and seamless process. But it's important that you know what happens, and it's important that you know that an experienced team like ComNet is prepared to do that. Then we have what we call post-cutover functions. These are things that, of course, happen after the system is up and running. We have a cleanup. We do what we call a punch list. If you have any concerns or problems or things you want change orders and so forth, we do that. We document the system for you, and we train staff if there's any orientation needs to be done. We train your users, provide support there, develop a little directory if you need it, and so on and so forth, if the numbering scheme changes and so forth. Then we follow up in a week or so, and we'll probably ask you for a testimonial letter. That's important to us. That's important to you. And we'll do a 1-month network cost audit. We'll allow you to get your bills in for 1 month, and then we come back and do a cost audit, and we do an audit of the system. and check with any users that are having problems and so forth. So you see the implementation process. It can be fairly complicated for us. It's seamless for you, but you need to know as a decision maker what's going on and what's going on behind the scenes, and that it's being taken care of so you have confidence in the installation process. Phase 7, of course, is the ongoing management of the system. We also break that down into 3 particular categories. One is what we call system or equipment management functions. These are all of the elements of that. We want to make sure that it's creating the cost controls that it's designed to do. We want to make sure that we keep accurate inventories. We want to make sure we optimize its performance and so forth. If backup is required, we install that. We want to make sure all the software is protected and so forth. So there's a lot of things that go on in the background. We call this management services, and we have several options for you in deploying that. You can do it yourself with proper training. We can help you. We can do it all. There's several opportunities there. Second is what we call network management functions. These are the things that we try to keep touch with as far as the network connections are concerned. And our team does this on a regular basis behind the scenes again, and we notify you if there's any action required. The last is what we call user management. If at any time you need help in managing users, retraining, so on and so forth, we're happy to do that. Some of that, those services are free, and some of them do have a cost associated with them. So you want to explore some of the ongoing maintenance and support agreements that are available and very economical. So to kind of sum up, what's the next step? If we go back to our ICT alignment process, you'll see that we've pretty well worked through in this webinar the perspective phase and the discovery phase. So the next phase for you would be the assessment, design, acquisition, and so forth. We'd be happy to help you with that, and we would be excited to do that. So contact your local ComNet dealer or your local, ComNet representative. That would be myself, or give us a call or go to our website, and we'll be happy to work with you. The key to leveraging the opportunities of change and avoiding its challenges is to anticipate it, embrace it, plan for it, and respond ahead of the curve. The time to take action is when the pain of the current situation is greater than the pain of changing it. One of my favorite statements from Lee Iacocca, of course, President and CEO of General Motors and Chrysler Corporation. So if the timing is right, we'd love to hear from you. Just exit out of this webinar, give us a call, and we'll send a representative out to get the process started. Thank you very much, and our corporate offices are in Columbus, Ohio. We do have a Dayton office that serves the I-75 corridor, Cincinnati, Middletown area, Troy, Tip City, and we'd be happy to work with you anytime, any place. There is a video here. I'm not sure you can access it through the webinar, but you certainly can back out and go to our homepage of our website and access the video. It's about 1 minute and 20 seconds. It'll give you a very quick overview to what we just talked about in this webinar. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, give us a call, and have a good day. Remember, SMB, ICT alignment for today's dynamic marketplace. Thank you.